All right, so welcome to the Tuesday, July 26th, 2022 meeting of the CAPS Commission. Let's get started with our roll call. So Commissioner Ramshaw, I'm gonna get your name. Here, present. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna get your name, Ramshaw. It's here. Commissioner, I'm saying you probably got your first name. McCulloch. There we go. And Commissioner Miller.
Present.
Commissioner Ford.
Present.
Commissioner Brown Sparks.
Here.
And Commissioner Carey here. So I see here that our next thing is to approve the agenda. Now, this is the agenda from May 24th, 2022, and the one from July 5th, 2022.
Oh, this is minutes.
Yeah.
From-
I'm sorry,
This is the minutes.
I'm sorry about that.
So we're on approval of this agenda.
Approve of agenda. I think.
And I apologize, I shouldn't have interrupted. I should have said point of order and done the whole formal thing.
All right, so approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any corrections or points that they want to correct on the agenda?
Looks good to me. Okay. Oh, is there somewhere in here, meeting times? We need to discuss, changing the meeting times.
We can add that under new business. If you guys would like that.
As long as we get to it, yes.
So I'm gonna, if there's no other objections to it, I would say the agenda is approved with the adding of the new dates and times. Do we need to vote?
No objection here. Any objections?
Thursday. Now on to the real dates. The approval of the minutes. And it is for May 24th, 2022 and July 5th, 2022.
And I'll just make a quick note. The July 5th minutes were sent out in today's packet, so I'm not sure if it's had sufficient time to read those. They are in the packet. May 24th
Didn't
minutes
see that neither.
did not make it in the packet. Commissioner Mann provided those late this afternoon. So in either case, if you'd like additional time to review those, that's fine. If you're ready to approve one or either or both sets today, you're also able to do that as well.
I wouldn't mind having time to look them over.
Everyone else, is everyone else okay with looking them over really fast before we approve them?
Oh, I meant, and revisiting it.
Oh, revisiting
another-
it? Okay, okay,
I'm okay with that, revisiting later.
okay.
It feels too rushed.
Okay, so, then we can go ahead and approve the May 24th ones only. That way, we'll at least have one of them, approved. So, would anybody like to make a motion?
I motion that we vote to approve the May minutes and table the June/July 5th minutes until the next meeting.
Yeah, can I get a second? I could second it. I don't know if I'm allowed to do
I think
that.
we're all trying to read it real fast.
Okay.
I can second that.
All right, so let's vote. Are there any objections? Okay.
No.
We can approve that. So we're gonna move on to the report. Co-chair. Do you have anything to report?
Anything special, but I will affirm what people have been saying, that I think that we presented a good, pretty comprehensive report to the council, and it seems to be well received, so I'm happy to be pressing on and hearing more about the other committees that I haven't heard much about since joining the
Yes.
commission.
I have nothing really to report. It's just that with my changing schedule, I won't be available, I want to say the weekends. It'll be like really impossible. I have like some family stuff going on. So it'll be easier to reach you during the week because my attention will be more so within that. So if we could like kind of make note of that. If I don't respond, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my head. So yeah, I'm available during the week, but the weekends are not. So I just want to let you guys know that. Yeah, that's the only report I have. So,
Are we on committee reports?
yes,
Okay. And which one are we on?
we're gonna do conflict resolution first. We'll just go in order.
That committee was headed by Commissioner Mann, and we had chosen to set that aside until the annual report was finished.
Right.
And it's now finished, so
Mhm.
we'll see how we pick that back up.
Okay, so we're gonna table that. Okay.
Well, actually, aren't we gonna discuss, whether people like maybe getting some new members? I think that committee could use new members since Alex is left. Also, the alternative to policing committee could use a new member. Now that Alex is left, that leaves that commission with a
I
new
think that
member.
would, I think we're trying to go down the list of committee reports in order, and maybe we could add that somewhere in the agenda. Because we're getting off topic on the agenda. I think that's a good idea to put that out there, but we're just doing reports for the committees right now.
So on the topic of the conflict resolution committee, I think it'd be nice to get new members on that so that we can make some progress. I know our goal on that committee was to create conflict resolution procedures for use internally, as well as to recommend other commissions, and possibly even eventually to help resolve conflicts in the community.
Do you wanna, this is just a suggestion, do you wanna like maybe invite some commissioners via email? Do you wanna talk about it during the meeting, or bit like maybe under other business, like what, for the two, what would like be, the way the discussion can just come out, you know, we can get the discussion out. So do you wanna like send out the invite via email, or do you just wanna talk about it like maybe like another business?
Oh, let's talk about it in the meeting,
Okay,
wherever
Okay.
you like.
okay, we can do, because we have to do two, right? We have to do, it's two of the committees that we're discussing, right? Alternative to policing and conflict resolution. We can like add that to, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll just point under new business,
Mhm.
based on several comments I've heard. There's an agenda item review of commission committees.
Yes, thank you.
I've heard members suggest that there may not be a need for all of the existing committees. You may want to look at membership of the existing committees. So there's a place on the agenda for that.
Thank
Report is
you.
really a chance for the committees themselves to report back to the full commission if there's any updates they'd like to provide. So sorry for any confusion there.
No, you're fine. I didn't see that, so, you know, these things.
So that's
Yeah,
all I was,
I have nothing to update on that.
Okay.
so I was just reporting what we know about that, but I am gonna step down from the conflict resolution committee. So could you make note of that, please? Thank you.
point of clarification.
You're co-chair, you can,
Like for the public members, yeah, not a member, but a public person. If there's a comment about a committee item, is still that all public comments contained within reports from the public, or how do you know the rules that are vision? So you tell me the rule and I will follow the rule.
I don't see public comment here.
They're right after staff.
Yeah,
Tell me where it is.
so
There we go, okay.
I just know if everybody fit there, or if you talk about it in particular, and someone has a comment, we talk there too, or does all the comments go into fine? For anything?
I would say we can save it for public comment.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I know. Thank
If you guys are all in agreement. Okay, so reparations and, atonement. Or anything to report?
So kind of looking over our memo from that last meeting, we did discuss Brown Sparks, attended the meeting for the CHIP program.
Mhm.
Did you want to comment at all on that, Brown Spark?
I attended the meeting for the CHIP program. I signed up for the working groups that they have. A lot of them go along with goals that we have for our commission. And so I thought it would be good to work with them like they have. One of the things that they have is like to help with the doctors so that they treat people from marginalized communities with more respect, and so that they learn more about the marginalized cultures so that they have a better understanding just dealing with people from the different cultures in general. And so I'm going to be doing those kind of trainings, and they've done research with the different communities to find out what it is that they feel needs to be worked on the most. So I'm going to be in the different working groups of that. If other people would like to join, that's still possible. So let me know when we can figure out how to do that.
And then another part that we discussed with the more resolution or we sent an email to the mayor over more. And so we're hoping that we can do more research over that program. And then also bring this committee a resolution that we could send to the mayor of like, or other, through another avenue to suggest that he signs on to that and makes more concrete actions for reparations and atonement. And then that, oh yeah, so for our, which we can discuss this later, for the commission program, we did discuss our committee as a whole doing some sort of voter outreach and encouraging more members of the public to be a part of the, just our local government in general. I do think that for part of our signature commission program, it would be really interesting to partner with some voting people to sign up for, getting people registered to vote and encouraging more people to be a part of commissions. I think that was it.
Yeah, we basically agreed on like 2 goals for this fall and then 2 goals for next spring. So that would be the more coalition that you already mentioned, the mayor, a resolution for the mayor to sign, and then following up on our other 2 resolutions with a 3rd resolution with more tangible, actionable recommendations to following up those other 2. That's the 2 for the fall. Yeah.
All right, so, research committee, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, we've decided that we are going to not meet in the month of August. We're going to take a little breather because we've got a lot of work done so far, and then we'll pick back up the following month in September. And we have several things we're looking at, but nothing concrete to work on that we're ready to share yet.
Now, question, Commissioner Brown.
is this where we talk about what we were gonna recommend for committees, or I have to wait until a different section?
New business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna discuss that in new business.
All
I
right,
have it written down, so we'll definitely make sure we discuss it. I know we all keep trying to go there. Yeah.
All right, and then we want to move the alternatives to policing down to, just to speak about, or do we have a report on that?
Oh, I would just report that we haven't been able to meet because of the restrictions, the quorum restrictions on meeting in person, and one of our members, our very few members, is Commissioner Brown Sparks, who's unable to attend in person, which has handicapped the committee, which is one of the reasons we're hoping to dissolve the committee officially in order to actually do more work for the topic. But I also just wanted to mention that in our council presentation last week, council member Piedmont Smith shared in the meeting, not just with us, but with everyone, that she had just come back from, was it Eugene, Oregon, I think, and met with the Cahoots White Bird Clinic. We've been referring to them as the White Bird Clinic, but Cahoots is also like one's the back end and one's the front end kind of deal. And anyway, she's visited with them in person and kind of had a private tour and learned a lot about how that program works. And she wanted to make sure that our commission and our committee in particular is following up on that. And I was able to inform her immediately that that was actually one of the programs we've chosen to study in that committee. And it looks like she's provided us with a detailed kind of handbook, it looks like, or some kind of report from that program. So that's useful.
Yeah, the program gave it to her, is what she said in the council meeting. It was great,
Awesome.
which is wonderful that they gave it to her.
All right, and what about the housing committee?
I also have an update about attendance. Right now, the council says that they can't do anything because it's a state law. And that's what the Human Rights Commission has said, is that they can't do anything because it's a state law. But they gave me different names of representatives to talk to, and I have a message in for Matt Pierce. That's what I have going on right now with that issue.
So you're talking about attendance for the
For
The
the
meetings, all
yeah,
meetings?
for my meetings and for having it be excused because it should be covered under an adaptation.
And I've called the ACLU. So sounds like we're all working on it.
You got an update from them?
I have not got an update from them. I did get an update from the Human Rights Commission, just the same as what Commissioner Brown Sparks did.
Okay. So, housing, is there anything to report?
Yeah, so we were unable to meet before the presentation to council. But because I presented on housing and then also some housing elements from the research report. And what Zoom attendees would have missed is some pleasing responses, because we didn't anticipate they covered something on housing developments before the presentation of the report.
Okay.
And so even though we don't have any, we're still working on connections. It seems like they were happy that we're kind of providing supplementary.
And then stats.
Yes, just a couple of things I think you've already mentioned them. I just wanted to get a chance to provide folks a chance to debrief after the annual report. You've already sort of done that. Commissioner Collin and Rousong did a great job. So if there were any other questions or comments about how that went, I just wanted a chance to talk about that. But I think they both did a great job. And then the other item here, you again already mentioned before the report, Councilman Piedmont Smith had been talking about the foods program based on the recent visit. And then after the missions report, Commissioner Brown Sparks requested a copy of that information. So that's in your packet, just so that everybody has a copy of that. And don't have anything to add on those two items. I just wanted to mention them. Third item that wasn't on the agenda, but just came up shortly before the meeting. Commissioner Alex Mann just sent in a note that he'll be stepping off the commission. I think he shared that with all the commissioners. So anytime there's a vacancy, staff will work with the city clerk's office and send out a press release to announce the vacancy. I know we're down several members now. So I will highlight that and encourage the clerk's office and council members who make appointments to this commission to do as much as they can to fill those vacancies. If any of you all know anyone that's interested, feel free to get the word out. There are now 5 open seats on the commission. So
Yeah, I got an email advertising like open seats on commissions and ours was not listed on there.
Yeah, I did too. It wasn't listed.
So
Good call.
just a bit of background, the mayor's office handles their own appointments. The clerk's office handles appointments the council makes.
That explains it.
Just recently, someone, realized, I think the mayor's office has started to routinely send out press releases on a monthly basis to announce open seats on the seats that they make appointments to. I think there's been discussion on just sending out a press release with all open seats.
Yeah.
For that very reason, it's confusing folks, looking to get involved, don't necessarily distinguish between who's making the appointment. So that may change moving forward. But the clerk's office will be working on announcing this vacancy, and I'll strictly encourage them to do as much as they can to get it filled.
Well, when I was over there visiting her just now, I didn't know, I would have mentioned it.
So that's all I have, unless there are any questions.
Very good. Commissioner Brown Sparks, I can bring you a copy of this if you like. I grabbed an extra for you with the
That would be nice.
cahoots things.
That would be nice to have an actual hard copy.
I thought you might like that. I'll bring it to you. I can text you about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're now going to take this time to have public comment.
Yeah.
Yes.
This will be brief. Can I sit here just for the sake of this? Absolutely. Briefly, thank you. My name's Kerry Answer. I teach part-time, AMSLER. I teach part-time at IU, more or less retired, kind of sort of. I teach at O'Neill Steel, public engagement courses and related. So a couple of things. First of all, thank you for your work. Very important committee in the commission. And I wish you well. I wanted to come and just be here. I've been traveling and what's that COVID thing. So I haven't been getting around. So thank you for pleasure to be here. This will be brief. It's random, pretty much. I like to read foundational documents. So I pulled up they actually look at actually public engagement elements in the comprehensive plan, which I collect these from around the country, actually. So this was fascinating. And it made me think, among other reasons, the other one I really like, by the way. This will be brief, I swear. Really, truly. You say promote a broader view of public safety, and that's really important. I just want to go hands up for the promoting a broader understanding and a view of what this is. It gets in people's brains so small, and it's wrong. So that's all. Congratulations. But a couple of things, random, truly and briefly. I happen to be, it's not like here, I'm not in an official capacity whatsoever, because mostly I teach and partly retired and do my own stuff. But I'm on the steering committee for the Community Voices of Health in Monroe County, which you may know is a Robert Johnson funded thing that's gone on a couple of years and goes on the next stage now. And good things about social determinants of health, marginalized community voice in health and social determinants of health and social health, well-being and wellness and related. And there's interesting things happening there. You may, if you're not familiar with it, may relate. Not positional policy things as much, but information that's relevant, I think, as I understand your view of the public safety. Okay. So that's just a random thought. To take a look at some of the findings that are coming out, they're interesting. And then the other thing, you mentioned about membership. You know, one of the things the Community Voice of Health in North County has, I hate masks, I do, has an advisory council, some grassroots, other sideways organizations. That's a good place to let people know membership for things like this, I think. So just random, they've done it already, but it can't hurt, you know. So. The other thing, housing, you mentioned housing, so I'll mention one thing that shows up in the social determinants of health in the one-to-one interviews, the small group meetings, deliberative engagement, the Community Voice for Health is that, which is I'm looking over everywhere here, and out there, is housing comes up, as well as simply affordable healthcare and finding a doctor. But housing comes up, you know, and so there's a lot of points of shared interrelationship, if you will, around some of your interests, I think, in this broader view of public safety and groups that many others, but including the Community Voice for Health. Let's see. So that's roughly Community Voice for Health. There's a whole lot of good stuff happening there. Most of it done, all of it done by others than me directly. The other thing, the Novak report, briefly, which everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? This stuff here. I'm looking at it again, and I said in a commission meeting, excuse me, that's a very small document. It's large, but it says covers some good things. But it doesn't help much to help commissions think well of the board's push, to think how they can best do their work. The onboarding thing is interesting, not unimportant, yada, yada, fine, and so what. Then there's what the people need to understand to really have a board or commission that does more than just a typical board or commission, and might have appropriate small O organizing, facilitating frames of interest to help bring voices in, and not just be, we're all here, we're done, we just said, but there's so much more that can be done. I think, I don't know where it happens, but as far as I know, the council is not having any special hearings about the Novak report, as far as I know. And I have not talked to the mayor's office or anybody. But this is interesting, I think, if individual board commission says, this is interesting, this does relate to our work and others broadly. Is this a forum also for people who care about this? What do they think? I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I don't know where it fits on every thousand of things you have to do in a meeting. I'm just saying, that there's not enough input coming back in about this Novak report. Many reports that come to many municipalities are written. I'm not saying it's bad or evil. It's useful things in many ways. Active for the mayor and staff and everybody. But I'm saying it's narrow. And I think it can be opened up. Consultants who do these reports are not always broad thinking and starting framing the questions they're trying to address or solve as well as they might. And I'm just saying there's more that could be said, not that it's bad or evil, but this is more that could be done. And I think this is such an important work. You know, it's all potential, of course, it's aspirational and forever. But nonetheless, you know, it's so important. And so I think thinking what the Novak report and what might come from it can be a useful thing to boards and commissions like this. Could be a helpful discussion, maybe. Almost done now. Back to Community Voice for Health, Monroe County briefly. We're doing some reports kind of, about public engagement. because we've been meeting with, we met with almost every council member, city and county, commission, county commissioner and council member, in the meeting, in groups and such. And we heard things about capacity, about public engagement, tools, documents, ordinances and such. Maybe you find it because it, maybe you think of it because of what it says about in your documents about public engagement. There it is. Oh, there it is. It may be relevant. So I'm going to send whoever you tell me the right person, staff, or, okay. You can give me a card before I leave. I'll remember who you are. Great. So I just thought you might find them, maybe, maybe not. Just about lastly, oh, I'm teaching a course next spring at ODO, with a client being Accelerate Indiana Municipality, which you may know is the old, formerly named Indiana Association of Cities and Towns, when you can understand what they meant. And we're doing it on youth commissions around the state, and youth voice in commissions. I don't know what here, I know about youth participatory budget, I haven't taught that forever when I go ITV, but that's another story. But I didn't know what's going on here, I don't even know now, but around youth voice in issues you have. I'm trying to get smart, this is for me preparing my own teaching. But I'd love to know if there's anybody I should talk to someday about anything you're doing that's related, or did relate, or has related, or will relate to trying to keep this thing out. About youth voice in these issues. Lastly, I am because of SPIA, and I keep saying everything on the there are opportunities there for attracting students. I mean, some of you may be, I have no idea who you are. I don't know you, at least I don't think I do behind your mask.
Yeah.
So, but there's an opportunity for a lot of education recruitment of students as well as high school students who are into such important work. And I think, that's it.
Jerry, what did you?
Oh, conflict resolution. I'm sorry, conflict resolution. CJAM is a great organization. I'm not formally affiliated, but I'm just a volunteer there. And so conflict resolution. And I know a lot of them, that's my field. I grew up back in the day. So I know a lot about it. If you've ever had any information you'd like from anywhere about conflict resolution, I probably know people, if that's ever helpful. Now I'm done, I swear I'm on your way. And thank you very much.
What was your last name, Terry?
Last name is Amsler, A-M-S-L-E-R. Terry with T-E-R-R-Y.
Thank you.
This is where we are. Take a break. I'm
If
sorry.
you'd like me to check, I don't know if we've got any public comments.
Sure, yes.
If there are members on Zoom, members of the public on Zoom that would like to comment, please use the raise hand feature to indicate your desire to speak. And we are one member of the public on Zoom would like to speak. This is Jim Shelton. Jim, can you hear us? Oh.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Yes, I can hear you. Hi, thanks for the opportunity to comment a little. I've been saying to you guys, I think I said it the last time, that an awful lot of part of public safety in our area is the responsibility of the county. They've got the courts, the prosecutors, all that, et cetera. And I hope you saw the article in today's HT about their criminal justice response committee's difficulties getting quorums, just like you guys have had with your committees, and have missed several meetings, but it talks a bit about some of the things they've discussed. So I invite you to read that, and do encourage you to liaise with them. And then I invite you to the Board of Commissioners agenda tomorrow morning, item K. They're going to probably approve a purchase agreement, $10 million, I think $20,000 for land where Fullerton Pike exits from I-69. And it's some of the Bill C. Brown property you may have heard about before. And it's quite frankly where the rumors have been now that the criminal justice facility, whatever that criminal justice response committee decides it ought to be, is going to be located. So that's something I think you guys ought to be tracking and trying to reach out and be in touch with them so that, I mean, this committee deals with the sort of the elected officials. It's mostly the council and the commissioners. And then there's another committee made up of the sheriff. They've got some city police cooperation, the prosecutor, the judges, public defenders, et cetera, which have met even less often. They're going to decide an awful lot of this, and you might want to try to reach out to them too. But anyhow, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, item K, or you can catch it on CAT sometime. Just wanted to let you know. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'd like to have a discussion just briefly on that, if I may, Chair, the chairs. And make note that on August 3rd, Criminal Justice Response Committee is meeting, and that's a county entity, and you can find that on the county's webpage, and I know I'll be attending, and I think it might be beneficial, and Jim, I think that's tying into what you're talking about. So thank you.
Commissioner Brown Clark?
I would just like to say that I have applied for the SUDAC so that I could get more involved with the criminal justice response and other issues within this county. Thank you.
All right, keep us updated.
Guess I'll see you at that meeting, huh?
Keep us updated, for sure.
Intersectionality at its best.
So do you guys want to take maybe a 10-minute break? Anybody in, oh my God, a little blank. Anybody object to that? All right, so we'll be back here. It's 5:43. Let's just say we'll be back about 5:55. Everybody a few minutes. All right, so do you guys want to call the meeting back to order here? All right. We're recording. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to continue our meeting. We are now at the unfinished business area. And I see first ideas for signature commission program.
And just a little context here, this was, I think, an idea that came about in response to a question that someone raised about budgets for commissions. At least in one other department in community and family resources, they have several commissions that they help administer, and many of those commissions have kind of a signature program. So Commission on the Status of Women puts on an annual luncheon, and the city provides support for that. There's other examples, but it's just an idea. If this commission would like to develop some sort of a program or an event or something along those lines, there will be some logistics to get it up and running. Certainly something as big as the luncheon that the Commission on the Status of Women puts on wouldn't happen overnight, but if it's something you all like to think about, talk about, and now, something you think about in the future, so it's not something we have to decide right this second, but this is the space to talk through how you would approach that.
I would say maybe us discussing it, at least getting the conversation going, of course, not making it a lengthy one. I do know that one commission, I can't remember the name of it, I was informed of that earlier. They do get a stipend, but I can't remember if it's under the mayor office. I have to do my research. I know that it's two different entities. So definitely, maybe we're trying to budget it, but I do believe that with all of the research that we do, that the work is very rewarding, but a stipend would be nice. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. Research, you know. I know that there's a lot of legwork, you know, and it would be helpful. It would be helpful. So I don't even know like how we would do that, Stephen. So like, would we drop a letter when we discuss the budget, like, how will we get the ball rolling? That's my only confusion.
So first, we're having a conversation, it sounds like,
Yeah.
so. Did you have something you wanted to say about
Yeah.
that? 'Cause I know I'd like to say something.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the signature commission for our budget. I
Right.
don't know, hopefully Stephen or you guys can comment since that was one of our commission points, recommendations. I don't know if you guys got any commentary on that or we've heard anything, wind or anything like that. It sounds like we're gonna be a lot more lucky having a commission program that's funded rather than having any type of stipend funded from previous conversations.
What I thought might be an idea, just a thought in the beginning of the conversation is that we serve our public that we are representing, using that to serve our public that we are also bringing the voices forward and representing. Because it's not just our voices, but it's their voices. And if we could somehow use that stipend in a way to open up so we hear more voices from them. I don't know if that looks like a picnic, what that looks like. But something to those effects. Open dialogue, getting people to talk with us while we're doing that. Something like that, I don't know.
But I know we're going to try and go to order, but just to touch on, because I was more touching on the just stipend in general, but for the commission program, like having that type of thing, I feel like my personal suggestion would be to do almost like town hall vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if they're comfortable with it, we can record it and like make that almost like, part of the research or whatever, but then also like having more private like groups of like, let's all kind of like how the CHIP program is planning to do, but on a smaller and not recurring,
Yeah,
every month.
we have to go to that.
Yes,
We can't.
like having a program, at like a park or something like that, and like really encouraging as many voices as we can get. And really
Exactly.
hearing from them and taking that in our research committee and in the larger, commission program.
Doing face to face.
Yes, I think that's the most vital thing we could do. And then also having, I would suggest we encourage people to sign up for, voting registration, that kind of stuff as well.
I heard that earlier, I like it. And then it's very important.
And I think that intertwines with the thread that flowed through our document of annual report, but also our presentation. And like one of the core elements of everything we're doing is opening up more access to civic participation, right? And I think that would be much more persuasive to get funding if we could program things like that expand it, that also go to the communities, go to the people, right? So I'm definitely in support of.
Yeah, that's really hands-on. I think it's important that the resolutions are nice. But this is hands-on stuff, which is also important. Both are important. So,
Oh, yeah, I think that we've had quite a bit of discussions about programming suggestions in our committees, especially in the alternative policing. We've discussed a lot of programming suggestions, and I think we just wanted to take the time to do the research and then the community outreach to make those kind of programming suggestions. I'm not sure if that relates to what we're talking about now, as far as a signature commission program.
I don't think so. I think it's the same.
It's like a yearly event or something like that, I think is what we're talking
This
about.
is an
here.
event, not a rollout to an idea of mobile unit.
I wish they'd fund that.
Right, me too.
Yeah.
Maybe we can brainstorm.
Sparks, did you have any brainstorm thoughts?
Well, I think
What did they fund the other one?
I think maybe we should actually take a little bit of time before we decide what our mission is gonna be, but I know I sent Najla a text earlier and it had a quote from the White Bird project of different things. And I was like, that is what my idea was like for what I wanted the project to be for the reparations. It had like a set number of different organizations that were in one location for people to be able to access. So it started out with like, if you needed to be able to access your birth certificate and those type of things because you didn't have access to the very basic things, that there was somebody at the building that could walk you through the very basic steps, and then you could get go through there and get all access to all the different things that you need. So if you needed help to get treatment, there was somebody there that could take you, and in a different part of the building, there was a place that you could actually have access and get treatment there. So that you could go, like it would be like a big community center, but at the community center, you don't just go and hang out. You can get all the programs that your family needs. It has access to all the programs that the people in the community actually need.
We're talking like an annual event. What confused me was the word program.
I know.
I'm thinking like an
Yeah, me too.
ongoing program. I'm like, yeah, we're hoping to suggest lots of programs, but we're thinking like an annual event.
Well,
Signature
I
event.
was talking to, it has to do with the Monroe County History Center, but I was talking about maybe having an event at Banneker, which the city owns that, right?
Yes.
So I was talking about maybe having an event with Banneker for Juneteenth and having a big like parade and festival at Juneteenth and getting the minority community there to celebrate Juneteenth. And then you can show them that the programming that Banneker has to offer. And then you can get in, and his history center, we were going to have a program where you could teach an introductory program on how to do your family tree. And since people that lived in Bloomington, they were going to give them examples of people that were on their people that did the Bloomingtons first, who broke the color barrier. So they would have examples of those people, their family tree, and if they wanted to see more, then they can go down to the history center and see more of it if they weren't already there.
So Commissioner Brown Sparks, you might want to get with core council of BLM, because they have a program at Banneker that's similar but different, and maybe it could be coupled with our commission if we so choose to have that be part of our event, or for that matter, just any part of it. But I would check with core council.
Yeah, I think they already team celebration at Banneker.
The history center was talking about doing it there.
Yeah, I think what Commissioner Miller is saying is that Black Lives Matter already does an event at Banneker. I think.
Right. And I was saying, we're talking about doing it at the history center.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Okay, gotcha. Yep. I like the ideas that you had about the family trees. That's a really, really, really important thread.
And I was thinking that it's important to do that because a lot of times in schools in Monroe County, you, as an African American, you aren't taught very positive things about African Americans, and that it's important to teach the children positive things about their family so they start out with a positive outlook on themselves and their family and their history.
So if we're going to be talking about deciding on a signature yearly event, what should we decide what like the purpose would be first?
I think we find out what it is too, exactly what it is. and what the guidelines are, and also because it sounds like we all have some differing purposes in mind. But we need to know what the guidelines are.
If we agreed on a purpose first, it'd be a lot easier for what I would suggest after that.
Yeah.
True. We also need to know what their guidelines are.
If it's helpful to
Yes.
gather up examples of what other commissions do, I know I mentioned one, but maybe that would give you some time.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
So happy to get that input together and try to provide that for the next meeting.
That'd be, women, aggressive women, and then the community and family. Both do those, so, yeah.
The department, Community and Family Resources Department has several commissions that they help staff and run, so I'll reach out to them and give me a list of what programs they support, and that might provide you all with some context and.
Is that Beverly County? Okay.
So some of them are programs, not just events.
I'll reach out to Beverly and get more information. It's been a while since I emailed with her, so I'll put together some more information for next month's packet and move that along.
I've heard it. Thank you.
I think for now, like just, all the like no bad idea kind of vibe.
I will also say it doesn't have to fit into the same kind of model or mold. I think this again came up because asking about budgets that other commissions had and what they received money. That's what. So if you all don't have to do this, you don't have to pick one idea necessarily. And again, if it's something that does require funding, it's something you all can propose and may not happen overnight. But if you're looking to do something similar to what other commissions have done, this is kind of a known path you might go down.
So we could have that on the agenda next time. I appreciated Commissioner Ratsong's suggestion that we come up with a mission or a purpose, and that would be a good place to start.
Do we want to brainstorm the purpose today, or do we want to try and do that next meeting?
We've got a lot of stuff, and we've got
Let's
23 minutes left.
Okay.
Let's get it done next meeting.
So,
So
good question.
we can move on to that student. We'll start the next agenda item.
I believe that's you, isn't it, Commissioner Brown Sparks? Your idea of doing research with the START program?
Oh, okay. That basically is it. I've said it like 80 times. So I mean, I don't
So it's
know
on the
that
agenda
I
for
have.
public.
I don't know that I have any new information to give.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
We have it in our packet now, so I can actually look over it.
I will say,
Yeah,
I thought it
yeah.
might be helpful. I went to their website, I printed out basically their webpage. So you can also visit this online, but I wasn't that familiar with it, so it's after the booths information.
Page 57,
Page 57.
for those in attendance, and I'll get you your copy.
This was just the homepage. There may be more information on the website that you could go to by clicking some of the links, but I believe there's an application process for partnering with the program. The last page, page 68, kind of describes their process for selecting community partners and working with folks. So
It's in the packet, right? So Commissioner Brown Sparks could actually see this along with us.
yes, I'm happy to
Okay.
pull it up if folks would like to display it.
That would be helpful, because she doesn't have it handy right there. I can tell.
Sorry about that.
Want me to hold it up for you right here?
I thought about it. Yes, I thought about it.
It starts in November when applications are, and then it starts in spring. So if you want to
I'm
do
like,
it
I don't know.
in spring, huh?
Which I'm gonna have to
Yeah, exactly. So we
Let's talk
can,
about that in committee.
absolutely.
Good idea.
And we'll definitely have to look through this more.
Yeah, we will.
So just from their website, it looks like there's an application period that maybe opening up later in the fall, late 22 for spring of 2023. Again, I just printed out their main webpage. They've got lots of other information linked here. And then on the last page, they kind of have a diagram of their process for selecting community partners. And if this is something you all are interested in, I'd encourage you to take a look more closely at the information on the website and let me know if there's any other information I can gather up for you and provide. But I know we've mentioned this a few times. I just went on the website recently and read a little bit more. So sorry, Commissioner Brown Sparks, if I overstepped. I just
No, that's perfectly fine. I've been saying this for like a year now, and so I'm trying to.
Well, it's good that
Are you tired of being?
our staff heard you and printed it out for us all.
Yes, I
I
appreciate
don't
it.
mean to minimize you by just calling you staff.
No,
I appreciate
I'm
it.
very appreciative of you, Stephen.
Yes. Thank you again, Stephen, for putting this out. I feel like this would be something, if you guys are comfortable with, that the research committee specifically tries to reach out to
Right,
them.
and that was before we had the research committee doing their masterful work, so.
Because they do it in the spring, and it'd be great to try and do a spring project every year for the committee specifically, so that we can continue doing research on a yearly basis at least.
Yep. So is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
And then we can report as long as we have our next meeting, well, when we have our next meeting.
September.
Yes, we'll report to everyone and let you guys know what we're talking about it, if we get any more
If we,
information.
if we get anything about that, specifically, we're gonna be organizing next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might
Planning out
not,
what we need to do.
exactly. Okay,
So new business, we're moving on. So response to the return of reverse employees.
So who is going to do the application?
Are you asking for the START program?
Yes,
So the application's in November, so hopefully we'll be able to come back to the committee.
all
for
right.
Application,
Right.
let you guys know, we'll always find out
October, we'll have September, October.
All right, cool.
application in November.
Then the research committee can look at it and see if they like think it's okay even, or if they don't even want to mess with it. And
We'll dive into it and report back to the commission as a whole.
all right, thank you.
Yes, thanks for bringing it up to us. A billion.
For the last 8 months.
We appreciate it.
Thank
Okay.
Okay, so
We got-
somebody said Roe v. Wade, but we also have to
Do
get,
you wanna,
so,
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
no, you go.
Okay, so I was gonna see, I know we wanted to draft, but were we thinking about drafting a letter, for the response to the return of Roe versus Wade, or did we draft a letter? Already?
No, so I could, if you're comfortable, I can speak on kind of what I found about it.
Yes.
So many cities are doing different programs. The one at the very back of your packet, page 69, has the resolution that was just passed in Texas a few days ago. This is their draft policy that I could find immediately.
Leave it to Austin.
Yes, and then they also have the pages after will has like the frequently asked questions, how Austin was able to do it. So the basis of this is that their city council wanted to limit the use of city funds for collecting and maintaining information concerning abortion or other reproductive health care actions And they also asked the law enforcement to deprioritize enforcement of criminal laws concerning abortions and other reproductive health care actions. So there, obviously, we are 100% sure one's going to pass in Indiana, but I do think it's important that we at least try to get a head start.
Mhm.
And our government, or the city of Bloomington, has released a statement, which wasn't attached here, but Steven sent it to me. Could you real quick give me a debriefer and bring that up?
I'll work with you on this.
Okay.
This one.
Obviously, the legalities in Indiana's are gonna maybe a little bit different than Texas, so we'll have to look more into that. But I do think some important points that I feel like need to be on this possible resolution or whatever that we can send to city council is that we ensure providers have appropriate security and legal support in Bloomington. So if there is still legal means to get abortions in any way, I want to make sure that we at least try to have, you know, the police force or police enforcement, or goodness. We have the police system or someone else to protect any of our clinics, as well as like all options and things like that. If things become, you know, dangerous, if there's any sort of like risk to the people seeking medical health care. That was a suggestion that I found. And then the localities should have a clear channel for providers to talk confidentially and ask questions to legal teams. So some cities are setting up a line, or they already have one, to get information on legal means through the government and through another source.
Mhm.
And then, so discussing with the police district attorney whether they'll use their discretion to prosecute. This, I think,
She's already made a statement.
yes,
Did you
we've
read
already
it?
gotten that, and I ended up talking to another person that I'll get to that in just a second. But and then, yeah, I think that is the main bits, is the call line, and then the provider protection and the lack of government money where possible.
And I know our prosecutor has made as a prosecutor, yes, said that while she will use discretion, she will also prosecute. So that was really sad to hear that our local prosecutor said that, made a statement, a public statement about it too, so.
And I did speak with, and I don't kind of think we should pass this just yet. I think
Right.
we'll obviously figure out, and I want to speak with a few more people. I did speak with someone that's a part of Monroe now in the community board of public safety, who she has a lot of connections with
Which
different,
person?
it is Natalie Gavin.
Oh, yes, I know Natalie.
She mentioned a few. But yeah, so she has a lot of connections to different providers, and like obviously is really active in these fights.
Let's talk to, I'll send you,
Yeah.
I'll send you some names.
Yeah, she suggested at least two from one from All Options, and then also the county prosecutor.
Mhm.
And one thing that we do want to avoid is having that target on Bloomington's back. So we want to be a safe city, but we don't want
A
like,
real safe city.
yeah, we don't want, you know, the big guys from Indiana's government to come in and strictly enforce these types of things. Like we want our different centers, like All Options and things like that, to be open and not to be overly enforced. So making too big of a public statement can be dangerous. So we've got to, there's this kind of line of, yes, there's, and it's a very, very delicate balance, so.
So I might say, I heard you say the word police to keep us safe, and I just want to remind us all that the police don't necessarily keep us safe, we keep us safe.
Yes.
And again, I will refer to Zach Norris's book, We Keep Us Safe. And we have to remember that we can do that without them many times. So,
Having the social supports, the volunteers, the
Yes,
community agents.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, this was a list from suggestions that I found, you know, in
Right.
different sites, so I haven't changed that, but yes, that's why I was like stumbling, because I was like, that's not what I mean, but
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
having people available to help out these different agencies, you know, yes. Because I think that'll increasingly be more important.
And I think we're right on the cusp of having these passed right now, so.
Yes. So these last pages, obviously, we don't have to discuss them now. Because I know we're running kind of short on time.
And I think I'm gonna take and look them over.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I would love if you guys, like, Commissioner Miller's already said that she will help me in drafting something. If any one of you guys are interested, please, we can set up an email chain, something like that, to really work on trying to get something more concrete that's
Mhm.
appropriate for Bloomington.
Yeah, just the person that can help us too, outside of commission.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say thanks for your work on this, and I'm looking forward to seeing a proposal for the commission to act, whether that takes the form of a resolution or whatever.
Yes. And do any of you guys have ideas on any, because that was like my short list of things that I've seen other cities do. I would love to take a minute to, if anyone else has ideas I could write down.
Like for now, just based on your research, what is your overall suggestion for our commission to take action on this issue?
So,
As far as the format that would be in?
Good
yes,
question. I know we had talked about a letter, but then you brought this, so
so
good
the
question.
resolution, like, I'm kind of thinking of basing it off of a resolution, which we'd be able to send, hopefully. I want to have the mayor, I want to have the city council, I want to have everyone involved that can be to sign off and make this like a high priority. Past just, because Stephen had sent me like the main letter or whatever that they sent out, talking about their disapproval of the stuff and then what we need to fight, but I think that we need more concrete, a resolution signed by all of these main members.
And what does a resolution do? I would like to see the action behind the resolution, because a resolution stops at the resolution.
Yes.
It doesn't do anything past the resolution itself,
Mhm.
sadly. So we'll talk about maybe trying to figure out what can be done past the resolution.
Yeah, because there's legal issues involved with
Exactly.
all of it, which
Exactly.
is why I think they passed the resolution. In this resolution, it also talks about the need for, like, obviously further.
Yeah, this one is good.
Yeah.
I actually know about the Austin.
And it talks about like the need to continue this research and like continue figuring out how they can legally be safe,
Mhm.
so. Yeah, and I don't know the legal terms for resolutions and what other things that as a commission we're allowed to pass or discuss, so
Right.
hopefully you can help me with that.
Okay.
Yes.
I think maybe part of the issue is like what you're wanting, and I think what we would all want, any of our resolutions is for the mayor or for the city council to sign on and like make it, like literally to sign it for one thing, and like then to make it like their own. And I think that's just something as a commission that we can't guarantee. And I know, I mean, we could probably diplomatically work behind the scenes to try to make that happen.
Yes.
But it's I don't think we can do more frankly than, technically, we can't really do more than as a commission recommend, this is what we recommend.
Yeah.
And we can't force the mayor or anyone else in the city to do anything really.
They might sign on though.
Yeah, to even just present this draft and say, this is what we are wanting as a commission for you to be able to do. This is after talking to stakeholders in our community, because I don't plan to just like write Bloomington's name on the Austin one, like.
Well, on that topic, I think there's more we could do, even with the resolutions that we have passed, to get more impact out of them. Like the other day, I was just driving and listening to WFHB, and they were reading some resolution, giving some guy an award for being, I don't know, someone getting some award the mayor passed. It was like a resolution thing that, and then I was thinking, well, how come the resolutions we passed never got an airing on the radio? They never got printed anywhere publicly that I know of.
We didn't send out a
They're on
press
our-
release.
They're on our website. I mean, I don't know if you can send press releases. Like, I don't.
Sure we can.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, we might discuss that as a commission,
Yes.
how we might have more of an impact, including the resolutions we've already passed, as well as the ones going forward,
and making all of our work more impactful in that way. And maybe doing it in a consistent, doing it the same way for all of our work.
Could you put on the,
Consistently.
it's a really good point. Could you put on the agenda, discuss PIO at our next meeting, Public Information Officer? And then we could discuss it further because that'll give Stephen a chance to look into it and then we can discuss it further. Because maybe we want to have one person, maybe we decide as a group of commission who might be the public information officer for our commission. And they would release the press releases, or we ask him, staff to do it. So we actually get some airtime. I thought about that too. I was like, we're not gonna ever hear about these again,
Yeah.
ever, unless we push to have them heard. Because it's gonna be on our page and not too many people look at the page.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as easy as pressing a button and saying, let's just, send. I think there's also, for every issue, there's behind the scenes work as well as, doing the lobbying and trying to get people to sign on and things like that as well. But yeah, it would be nice if we at least had an idea about what our public relations options are as a commission. Do other commissions do anything like that? And if not, can we do it anyway?
Yeah.
Because coming from a marketing background, I was like, okay, we did all this, these resolutions, and now no one's ever reading them or talking about them ever. So it'd be kind of nice to see if we could, okay, maybe we didn't do enough behind the scenes to get enough political buy-in, which, it'd be nice to improve that going forward, but also, can we just not get some kind of public?
Acknowledgement would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily acknowledgement, but yeah, just get it out there, maybe if it was played on the radio every now and then, people react, people might react to it. I mean, the reason we passed the resolution is because we definitely wanted people, for both of the resolutions we passed, is because we wanted people to think about these issues, and to just start talking about how these events are affecting our city and things like that. And it's certainly not going to happen as long as we just pass a resolution and then it goes on the website and it's never heard from again. Maybe is that something we should just put on a future agenda?
Yeah.
Did you have something to discuss?
Just a couple of comments on the form that some statement from this commission might take. So certainly this commission could approve of a letter that just states, here's what we think on this topic. You can send that out to whoever you like, city officials, the media. Other groups here in the city do that all the time, and sometimes the media just says, all right, thanks for letting us know, and they move on. And the city doesn't control what the radio plays or the newspapers pick up. So sometimes other groups struggle with getting traction as well. So a letter is one option. A resolution similar to the resolutions we passed previously that states the position of the commission and then recommends actions for the future. You could also pass a resolution that you recommend be adopted by the city council and the mayor. So with the previous resolutions, it was a statement of this commission, and it wasn't a recommendation that the city adopt that resolution. It was keep these things in mind when you can take these positions. So if this commission wanted to pass a resolution and then recommend that the city adopt that as its resolution or statement, that's another option. And again, if there are specific actions that you're recommending, this commission can make recommendations to the mayor, the city council on
That's right.
what you feel is appropriate.
I thought so.
Yeah. So
Thank you for the clarifying.
those
So
are
I asked if that
a
could be
few
added.
options. Does that make sense?
Commissioner Fury, did you hear me earlier when I asked that that be added to the agenda?
Is it the PIO?
Well, that too.
Okay, what else would you like?
Yeah.
Like our church and,
Contact method or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha, yeah. So with the resolution that we suggest be adopted by the council or the mayor, would that just be sent to them? And then would they be required to discuss that? Like the
Right.
council will be required
Yes.
to discuss that?
Yeah, they do.
If we suggest that they.
Or could they just say, we don't really care?
It'll be on their packet. It would be in their council packet.
It would be a recommendation, the mayor and council could do what they want with it. There wouldn't be any requirement that they take it up or consider it, but,
But they will.
I will say that the letter I shared with Commissioner Ford was a statement of several local officials. It wasn't a city resolution or a council action. Although I think all 9 city council members, the mayor signed on to this statement along with several county, township, elected officials. I'm looking through,
The one in Austin, you mean?
No, this was a Bloomington, Monroe County local officials statement on reversing roadway. And happy to share that. I didn't include it in the packet, but it's public. It was sent out to local news media.
I read it.
So it's a timely topic.
You know, I read it.
So if there's any statement you all would like to make, you're certainly able to make that. We can share that with anybody you like. If there's a recommendation that you'd like to pass on to the mayor and council, that's certainly within your purview. If that recommendation is that they take some action to adopt a resolution or policy position, again, you can pass that recommendation along. That's what this commission is meant to do, come up with recommendations to help improve public safety.
Yes.
And so,
This is big.
Yes.
This is big.
Do they currently, and I don't know if you know this or not, do they currently have any more plans on their, like, if there are they already working on resolutions, anything like that? Or was it just, we've done this written statement and we're gonna wait and see it out?
I believe I wasn't in attendance, but I understand last Friday at the council's work session, there was discussion of a resolution by the city further addressing roadway lanes, reversal. The specifics, I don't know if there are specifics at this point, but there may be interest in weighing it further.
Okay.
So again, this is a timely issue.
Do you know possibly who that discussion was with, like which council members would be good to reach out to? Or can I just like look up would it be published on CATS, I'm guessing, the working session?
I know council members Scambolery and Sandberg have been involved. Councilmember Sue Scambolery might have been the presenter at the work session.
Good person to reach out to. Okay.
I make a motion that we extend the meeting at least long enough so we can get a new day for our meetings, regular meetings. I make a motion to at least extend it to get that part of the agenda covered today. Before we adjourn, do I have a second? Everybody in agreement? Yeah. To get another meeting on the books? Yes.
Okay,
Did you have another comment?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, so it sounds like from what everyone has said on the topic that Shelby's gonna continue leading the effort with possibly Commissioner Miller and basically find out what the city is doing, and if you think that that's not sufficient, that our commission could recommend something stronger than what they're doing, I suppose, is what it sounds like.
Sounds like it to me, and maybe even if it does seem strong enough that maybe they would allow us to sign on with them.
Yeah, and support it.
And support it in names also, and as a commission, if we all choose to do that.
And I'm also hoping to reach out with other community partners and
Mhm.
those we can report back to everyone about how that is, and if there are weak spots, even after, if the city passes a resolution, what's still missing, and kind of figuring out which policy aspects we could still try and push for as a committee.
the commission.
That's good to know that it doesn't automatically go in any in every resolution that we. I just thought it was something assumed that on any resolution that a commission would pass, that we would want the city to adopt the resolution.
Yeah.
And act on it or anything, but apparently it's something that you add as well. So anyway, it's good to know. It's good to know.
It's all
Again,
life is
this kind of
learning.
thing would be really useful if they would tell us, oh, when we join the commission, like.
Where's our packet? You know, our
But
packet of all
anyway,
things to
it's
do.
nice to know eventually that that's how it is.
Life is a learning experience, isn't it? Thanks for the work, and I'm sorry to get back to you. I had my mom at the doctor.
I understand. Things have been crazy. Yes.
It really has been, so.
Okay, so I know we wanted to review the commission and the committees. I'm just making a suggestion that could we possibly in the reports handle that, whether or not we're going to, which ones we're gonna keep, which one we're gonna table.
So, wait, sorry, what did you?
I know we wanted to review the commission committees on which ones we're gonna keep and which ones we're gonna table for a while or not be so official.
Could we,
I think the discussion was to dissolve them so that we could actually continue the work in the commissions, but without the restrictions, the quorum restrictions.
some of them, but not all
I don't know if we were
So
gonna table
we-
any of them.
The
necessarily.
resolutions and resolution. Reparation and Atonement Committee in our last meeting, we did discuss the possibility of dissolving all the commissions or all the committees because of the inequality when it comes to the virtual users. And so still having those as kind of like working groups or something like that. But we were just like, Sparks, I'd love if you talked on this more, but she brought up really good points about how it's not equitable for us to just dissolve the committees, like with a member that might have to attend on Zoom or something like that because of the quorum issues, but keeping other committees. Like we want to try and ensure that we're making a statement of if we're not going to count one of our members, we shouldn't keep these like committees that won't count, you know?
We shouldn't use a method that's discriminatory. to
Yes.
Some of our members.
So,
Well, I know we're working on trying to get that fixed. But at the state level. So
Are there any committees that currently would object to working, to dissolving the committees and working without that official designation as a committee and continuing the work?
I simply like it because the public can be involved. And it's important for us to have the public involved. I don't like the inequity. And I know Commissioner Brown Sparks, you know that because I've been working behind the scenes to get answers to that, as you well know, because I've been in touch with you about it. But I know it's been beneficial to have Zoom meetings and that being available to have the public in attendance for our research committee. So I'm a little apprehensive to dissolve all of them.
Stephen, I don't know, with our, so what are the official rules? So,
He's gonna tell you again.
yeah.
I know them.
Yes.
It's not that-
Can we have working groups that maybe have a public Zoom link when we need, and then when research decides other times that we need to have more like a working session where we're just debating ideas or something like that, or doing public outreach that we don't have to Zoom?
So let me back up a little bit. So the Indiana open door law requires that the public be able to attend, observe, and record meetings of governing bodies. And so this full commission is a governing body under the Indiana open door law, and any committees directly appointed by the commission to do work on its behalf are also governing bodies. And so by directly setting up these committees and appointing members to them, you have created several different governing bodies that are subject to the open door law, and that brings all of the formality along with it. There's nothing that says informal groups, subforum groups of this commission. So we're down to 6 members. So we're really talking about 3 or fewer
Right.
members. If you all get together and are interested in working on something together, you can do that. You can invite the public in. There's no reason you have to exclude the public. If 3 of you say, hey, this date and time, we're going to talk about something,
So we could actually have that on our official page?
so that'd be a little tricky.
And on the council, on the city calendar?
I don't know that we've got the setup to do that. It would just depend on how it would work. We probably need to think through it in more detail. I will say staff, and we're understaffed at the moment, so this may change, but we're having a hard time keeping up with the existing committees. And,
Right.
You know,
Right.
you all thankfully haven't needed us to be at each committee meeting, set up those, and you handled them yourselves.
This is touchy, and it's very touchy because many of us here are disabled. And so it's a touchy, this is a hard topic. It's a very hard topic.
To be able to do to meet up with each other, in our homes or,
Right.
somewhere close to our homes, a park or whatever, and
Right.
have that instead of having to come to this place.
I am so sorry. I thought I had that. It is silent. I don't know why it's going on.
I wonder, so we used to have working meetings for the commission as a whole, right? I don't think I was ever really a part of those, but like instead of
Yeah, we
having
did.
once a month, we
We
did
did.
every 2.
There were work sessions.
Work sessions. Work
Those
sessions.
were still public.
They're still
meetings.
public.
Do you need corn for that?
Yes.
I was gonna say, if we could just be like, hey, research wants to have some public input, why don't we just meet together on
Right.
a work session?
But
But
maybe we could just discuss dissolving the committees that where all the members want it to be dissolved today. If we could do that today, that would allow the other committees to continue meeting because we haven't got any work done on a couple of these committees for months now because of this.
You want to make a
So,
motion
Um,
to do that? I can.
yeah, that's what I
I
was
could get
gonna
behind that.
suggest. I wanted to throw the idea out there first
Yeah.
and see if anyone had any thoughts on it.
I just don't want to take the public out of all of it. And I know that Commissioner Brown Sparks and I are both working on trying to get some things fixed on the state level because we know we've got to do something.
So which ones do you want to make a motion about?
Well, I know at least 2 of the committees I'm on have discussed it in our meetings to agree to dissolve them. One was the alternatives to policing, which we discussed doing it the last commission meeting, and Commissioner Brown Sparks had a objection, and so we decided to discuss it again, and we decided to dissolve it. And then the other one is reparations. And then who's left on the conflict resolution one?
You and Commissioner Brown Sparks.
Okay, yeah, and so I would recommend that all 3 of those committees I would make a motion to dissolve conflict resolution, reparations, and atonement, and alternatives to policing.
I would like to attend those occasionally, so would somebody let me know when they're going on, so I could attend via Zoom or something, or however you're doing it?
So caution you all, again, it's, if these are dissolved, it's fine to still meet informally in some forum groups. It won't be a meeting of these committees because these committees will no longer exist.
Right.
But again, the work that these committees were doing, if members individually or in some forum groups would like to carry that forward and bring whatever proposals you've been working on or ideas to the full commission, you're still able to do that. It just won't be as.
It won't be recorded and we can't see them later.
No.
It's kind of been nice. So,
So it's certainly not worth not getting anything done for months,
no, it's not.
in my opinion. That doesn't make it worth it.
Yeah, I agree. That's why we're calling everybody we can to try to get the law changed.
There is a level of formality that the open rule law requires. So once you've set up these committees, there's requirements you have to meet, and the electronic meeting requirements, which is a new development since 2021 in the wake of the pandemic. I'd be shocked if they didn't tweak that. I don't have any specific information, but I just know it's so new. Folks are working through it. I doubt you're the only ones, and I doubt you're the only city with thoughts on how it can be improved. So
We don't get anything done.
I'll just leave it there.
Okay, so your motion is for us to dissolve the conflict and resolution, the reparations and atonement, and the alternatives to policing.
Yes, and I was going to suggest that we discuss also the possibility of dissolving the housing committee for the same reasons.
Okay.
So I think Jason's on that committee as
Right.
well. I don't know who else is on that committee.
I know that I'm no longer on it, so I mean, like I said, it's understandable that no work is getting done, so there's no point of having them at the moment. You see what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
it's kind of like we're setting up meetings, and the meetings aren't getting done, or nothing's getting accomplished. And there's no point
Yeah, that was
keeping it to
frustrating when that was happening on committees I was on.
Yes, so I will second your motion of the conflict resolution, the reparation and atonement, the alternative to policing, and the housing. Committee. Okay, so it sounds like you're in agreement with that too.
Like,
Are you?
All right, so yes, that is my motion.
Okay,
Would you like to second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion. So take a vote.
okay, and I'm sorry, are there any objections to that?
On this, I would take a vote.
Okay.
So we-
Okay, so Commissioner Brown Sparks. You know what we're doing, I'm sorry.
Yes, I
We're
know yes, I know what you're doing. I'm not.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Because I mumble a lot, so I wanted to make sure that you heard me, I'm sorry.
I know what's going on. My question is, Stephen, if we get rid of the preparation and atonement committee, then there's nothing to fall back on to make sure anything gets done in the reparations and atonement committee, though, right?
Well, there would no longer be a committee. It would be up to individual members to do the work that committee was focused on. So whether one individual or multiple individuals together carry that work forward, there's no reason you couldn't.
But there's no guarantee that anything will get done.
There's a guarantee that we're not going to be able to meet, it seems like, if we continue to keep the committee going. And I'd also put forward, there's no guarantee either way, even if we have a committee, that anything.
It sounded like reparations committee wasn't having a hard time meeting quorum.
Well, there's 3 of us, so.
Right, so that's a good
We
thing.
both do have to be in person.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's like the hardest time. I mean, we've been able to meet, but it's definitely been difficult to make sure.
So do you have an objection to dissolving the committees, Commissioner Brown Sparks?
The one stated, right?
Sorry.
The reparation.
Reparations and atonement.
Can I suggest that we go through each
Well, let's let her
committee?
answer,
Oh, sorry.
answer the question. Sorry, did you hear my question?
I
Commissioner
heard your
Brown Sparks?
question.
Okay.
I heard your question. I think I would be okay with dissolving the other 2, but I don't really trust anybody to dissolve the reparations atonement committee because, well, here we are with no reparations and atonement for the past. So I don't know.
Word.
So just to help at this point, there's been a motion and a second. If the motion needs to be amended, or if there's any interest in amending that, you can do that if there's no objection. Otherwise, the motion's on the table and you should
Vote.
take it up.
I'd like to amend the motion to dissolve the conflict resolution,
the alternatives to policing and the housing committees.
Second.
Second. Or third, I agree.
Okay, so let's vote. Let's see here. So Commissioner Brown Sparks,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsong,
Yes,
Commissioner. Okay.
No worries. Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Miller,
Yes, with some reservations.
Commissioner Ford.
yes.
Commissioner Carey, yes. Okay, so that is passed, and we are going to keep research, reparations, and atonement.
And just to confirm the membership on those two committees, so on reparations and atonement, I've got Commissioner Brown Sparks, Rousseau, and Ford. And then on research, I've got Commissioners Miller, Ford, Carey, and Pollock.
Yes.
Correct, correct.
Yes, that's correct. We've got a lot of work to do.
Okay, so about the, now we can move on to the new dates and times.
Would you be able to pull up that spreadsheet? Thank you so much.
Oh, the whole world to see.
Oh.
Is this a spreadsheet, I'm sorry, a review of the meeting times for the two remaining committees or for the full commission?
Full
For the
commission.
full commission, but I can tell you there was only one evening that all of us were available. And that is Mondays at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And as long as everybody updated the spreadsheets as requested.
Was everybody able to update the spreadsheet?
I didn't.
You didn't?
Are you available on Mondays at 5 p.m.?
I'm available every night except for the third Tuesday.
Monday at 5.
Make a motion that we make Monday at 5 p.m. a regular session time.
Second.
Sorry, just quick, so right now, currently it's the fourth Tuesday of every month, so you want the fourth Monday of every month?
I hope that I didn't just make it impossible for me to go to them.
I assume you didn't mean every Monday.
No.
No.
And I also, we have to do that.
Which day?
Monday, that would be the 22nd of August, but I wanted to make another after this, so no, because I want to make a motion that we skip August altogether.
Oh.
Before we,
So hold on, so if I can suggest a motion, first a motion to change the regular meeting time to the fourth Monday of every month, and then a separate motion to cancel the August meeting. Sounds like it's what I'd like.
I would like to try to do.
The August TAPS meeting?
Yes,
So if you want to take this one at a time, unless I guess the motion to change the regular meeting time depends on whether the August meeting is canceled.
it won't.
Okay, so I would take first changing the regular meeting time, if that's the motion, to the fourth Monday of every month.
And make a motion that we change your meeting time to the fourth Monday of each month.
Second.
Well, if you don't mind, just 1 second, I want to make sure there's a room
Yes.
that's available. Evenings are popular meeting times. Looks like, well, August is canceled. It looks like August should be fine.
Rosh Hashanah is in September. So that might be a problem for those in the public that might want to attend, or here that might want to attend, are going to be busy celebrating.
Looks like generally this room is available the fourth Monday,
Okay, that's good to know.
so it shouldn't be an issue. Other than holidays, or there's that's actually that might conflict with the dates. I haven't checked that.
So maybe we skip September and not August.
Honestly, if we're planning to work on the, Roe v. Wade response, I think that it would be important that we have the meeting in August.
But first we have to decide on, first we're are we going to change to Mondays?
Yeah, I'm fine with changing to Mondays. Is there any reservations?
Are there any, fourth Mondays? No. Okay, then, since there's no objections, I thought we can pass that, or do we need to vote individually?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I will update the commission's annual schedule with new dates. The meeting should still be in this room.
Right.
At 5 o'clock, so nothing else will change other than the dates.
And you heard that we are skipping the research committee one, but you're now saying, well, we'll still do it.
Yeah.
So we were skipping the research committee meeting for August.
Okay.
Okay, and then, so that's, so does anybody want to make a motion about the date of the meeting that we're, skipping? Skip, or are we skipping a meeting?
Why are we gonna skip a meeting?
We had discussed skipping one, just taking a break because a lot of commissions meet every other month. And we have been meeting. That might be a nice break for us. And we had kind of talked about it in committee and thought, yeah, that'd be great. Then Roe v. Wade got overturned. So that changes a little bit of things. However, that might give us a chance to work done. I don't know. That's where that dialogue came from, to answer your question.
Okay, so are we not, so
It was just something we had discussed in our committee.
as far as the commission, are we skipping any, or are we, what are we doing?
That's a good question.
What do people feel like they need a month off sometime within the next, like, either August or September? I know August and September are usually pretty busy times for everyone. How are people feeling? We should have a quick dialogue.
I think September would be good. That's Rosh Hashanah anyway. So maybe we just use that as a reason also to take a break. Because it's also a holiday. How do you feel about that, Commissioner Brown Sparks? September 4th week, Monday is a holiday. Should we take that 4th off?
I guess I can wait till September.
Well, September is the time I'm talking about taking off.
Yeah.
Talk about
So
skipping.
you only have one meeting and then you get like a month break between meetings.
What are we taking off? What are we talking about?
Just skipping them, I'm basically taking a break for the commission.
We're talking about having a summer vacation like everybody else in the
Talking about
world.
skipping one meeting.
Yes, in
One
September.
commission meeting.
Yes, in September.
And then that could give us all some thoughts.
What's the purpose of skipping a meeting? Why do we need to skip a meeting?
You missed it. We all said we'd like a break
Yeah.
for just a summer break.
The report's done and I know like my August and September is a mess. And so I want to be able to dedicate time and energy to planning out. I also think it would be a good time, instead of having a meeting, to like do some internal reflection and kind of be like, what should our mission be for this next year? Now that the report's done and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what
Because
anyone else thinks.
Because I know, like, at least on alternative to policing,
You don't
we had a pretty strict schedule of a lot to get done during August and September.
Okay.
So I hope if we skip the commission meeting, that doesn't mean that we won't get that committee work done.
Okay, that's not a committee anymore. We
But
just dissolved that committee.
I definitely think we should meet as individuals, like during the time.
Yeah, so-
Like small groups to get work done, and then that'll give us even more to present if we skip that meeting.
And maybe that's a good reason to skip the September versus the August, right?
Mhm.
So if we meet in the August meeting, we can start to pick that up, which sets the
Yeah.
groundwork for how that's gonna.
I'm not in general in favor of canceling any of our commission meetings.
Well, let's make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion and then after you're finished speaking and then we can vote on it.
But, if the majority of people on the commission
don't want to attend that meeting, I'm also fine with that. In general, I'm not in favor of deciding not to have meetings. Just because I think we already struggle to meet, get a time when we all can meet. And so I'd like us to take advantage of that, but, obviously if everyone wants a month off. But I mean, I guess it's not really a month off. It's really just one meeting that we're missing.
Yeah, just.
And if we want to do small working groups or something like that during that month, I think that's just would be a good month, like. Theorize.
Breathe.
Yeah, breathe for a little bit and think about like, what's the future, because.
We have some pretty
the
strict
annual report.
timelines planned, We got some pretty strict timelines planned already.
I feel like the Reparations and Atonement Committee should still meet, everything like that month, which I know we have some strict
Well,
timelines with
specifically
that.
with the alternatives to policing, we had a lot of like research to be doing, stuff like that. So I just hope we
Yeah,
can still continue that without having a regular meeting.
So I'm making a motion that we skip the September regular session. Anybody want to second that? Okay, so we have a second, and I think we should do a voice call vote on this.
Okay, so Commissioner Brown Sparks,
To take a break in September.
yeah, I'll vote for,
Commissioner Ramsbottom. I'm sorry, I'm tired, y'all, okay?
I vote no.
Okay. Commissioner McCall, thank you.
Yeah. It's like a car in Jersey.
Okay,
Ah,
okay, I got it. I'm gonna get my life together.
that's okay.
I've been up since 6 a.m. Was your vote yes?
Yes. I
Okay,
will.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes,
Commissioner Ford, Commissioner Carey.
so the motion carries.
Yeah. So, it carries and we will still, of course, meet our committee. Okay,
So now we know when our next meeting is. Okay,
Okay, and so I see nothing under business, nothing other topics or suggestions for future, well, we put that on there. We talked about that, what to add to the next meeting. So I'm just gonna put in a motion for an adjournment.
I'll second.
Any objection?
No.
Y'all gotta get some
That was a
coffee
long meeting.
Yeah,
and
no
put
doubt.
it in the IV for me.
well, it was a double, this is our second meeting in July.
Yeah, I know, I'm just
Yeah,
so
it was-
burned out.
it was
I'm not
painful.
getting my burnout.
Thankful.